Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom, and today the first part of this one was a total mic drop for me. So, paying attention. And I sound stuffy today. I don't know what that, I might even actually take a COVID test. I feel kind of punky. And it's been going around. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome. Glad you are here. Awesome. Although the rules have changed significantly. I have a friend who is a nurse, and she often keeps up on what the CDC is saying about things, and the rules for COVID now are very different than they were much earlier. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome. The strains seem to be much milder than how virulent they were to begin with, but it's kind of interesting. Her husband had COVID recently, and the basic gist was, if you're not running a fever, oh well. So, and he didn't really notice much other than he was stuffy. So we'll see. And yesterday was also the first day of the rummage sale. Today's my day to be on duty, so if any of you are in the Appleton area, please feel free to drop in and say hi and be amazed by the amount of stuff that we still have. All kinds of stuff moved yesterday. Vicky kept sending me pictures. Relay for Life speech. Yes, sending you good juju, dear. Hope it goes fabulously. Yes. And you're a very powerful speaker. Put your words out there. We all need to be doing this, right? So I was reading my How to Human book by Carlos Whitaker, and he's got a bazillion followers, especially on Instagram. And twice so far in the book, he has shared about points where he decided to take a stand on something. He has his opinions, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't put them out there, but these were very clear videos about what his opinions were at some specific points in time, and really cost him chunks of people. Good morning, Bobby. Glad you are here. So, when 30,000 people drop off your Instagram because of an opinion you put out there, that can be a little daunting when that's the way you make your money. That's not the way I make my money. So, but I have had that where there have been times where I read someone else's stuff and I want to repost it, or I want to have a diatribe about something that means something to me. And so have hesitated, but have put stuff out there and have gotten some backlash, and that's as it will be. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad you are here. I also have to tell you all that, as a couple of you have been saying the last couple of days, how meaningful these videos are for you, and at what point in your life the videos came in for you. That kind of keeps me going. It's like, okay, this is making a difference. This does matter. And today's reading is just one of those that again, was a mic drop for me. It's like, oof, yes, because last night I laid awake from, I don't even know what time I went to bed. It was rather early, 9:30, because I knew I had to be up today to have energy for the rummage sale. But there I am at 10:30, kind of laying there going, my brain's just churning. And so I did some tapping, and I did some breathing, and I did some conversation with God. And then I went and got the bag of sour cream and onion potato chips and had some. Good morning, Janine. I don't know as though I have ever had sour cream and onion potato chips in my bed before. What the hell was that? Good morning, Abigail. Glad you are here. But I think it was Lionsgate stuff, for one thing. Turns all this shit loose, and gotta process it somehow. So we shall see how this all unfolds. But the trigger for yesterday Good morning, Robin. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. And the 9 of you that are here, I'm going to suggest to you that there is something in today's reading that you, in particular, yes, you, are meant to grab onto and run with. So yesterday, it was interesting. I got a phone call from someone where I had been courted to offer my experience on what's happening with the Affordable Housing Project. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you are here. And this call was basically to kind of say, we don't have room for you. We don't have room for you. Other aspects, other speakers have more to say that's in alignment with what we're wanting to put forth. So, my thought process, good morning, Diane, glad you're here. My thought process was immediately, are you ready for this? This or something better. This or something better. This isn't meant to work out, so something better is lurking in the weeds, waiting to manifest. Now that there is this void where this particular talk was supposed to be, something else will come in. Something else will come in. It did make me think through more of, and right in my journal, I got to show you this journal. I picked out a new journal. It's kind of pretty, right? Thoughts. But it's skinny little lines. Usually my journals have spaces twice this big. And I'm finding it feels cramped to write in it. But what my thought was today was that maybe I'm meant to be more contained right at this moment. Again, I still have my Thicket of Thorns card, uncertainty, sitting here. And so here is yet another thing that I thought was going to happen that isn't going to happen. Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. But pleased that the first thought was, this or something better. Next, whatever is supposed to be. I was looking forward to that opportunity as a way to put more information out there that might be of use to other groups that are going through this, that are not going to, just like us, not qualify for some of the regular stuff that helps get these things done, but has to find a new path, has to find a different way to make it happen. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So, our chapter for today, we're back to Tosha Silver, Outrageous Openness, Letting the Divine Take the Lead. How is that for this or something better? For those of you who like to follow along in the book, page 151, 2 from the God Annals. So in other words, we're going to have 2 stories that represent this particular topic. But let's start with the breath. Always fun to breathe in through the nose when you're stuffy. Letting your shoulders drop, wiggling a little bit, in through the nose. Feeling grounded. I was also just writing. I like having pretty pictures up on my computer screen when I'm writing by hand, something that kind of sets a tone. And I listen to morning music on Insight Timer. I create this whole energy field when I'm doing my journaling. I've got 4 items that I set out in front of me. Let me share them. What the heck, right? So my little celestial stone, I love this thing, the cosmic egg, as it were. A beautiful turquoise native ring that a tribal person gave me. A crystal, which I keep trying to determine, okay, is this amethyst or is this smoky quartz? I'm not sure. Anywho, and then a wonderful little, I don't know if it's sodalite or what it is, pyramid. Those are my things. They sit here like 4 little centennials holding space. Good morning, Linda. Welcome. Holding space for the writing that's happening. So on we go. This or something better. So again, As always, my belief is, good morning, Marilyn, glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. My belief is when we get to a place where we get 2 quotes at the beginning of a chapter, it's going to be a fabulous chapter. So perk up your ears, perk up your physical ears and your intuitive ears to pick out what's meant for you in this reading. And if you choose and want to share what aspect jumps at you, please feel free to do so. And Cindy, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to have you post at least this first quote, because it was like spot on, Bonnie, pay attention. You may wear out your iron-soled shoes, searching for what arrives without effort when the time is right. Divine right timing and divine right order, anybody? This is a Chinese proverb. You may wear out your iron-soled shoes, searching for what arrives without effort when the time is right. It's like when, I can see his face. Hang on, his name's going to pop into my head. I'll come back to it. Anywho, his gist was he was in a foster home, and the older woman who was taking care of him planted tomatoes. Thank you, Cindy, greatly appreciated. Planted tomatoes, and he was a little kid, right? He's wondering, where are the tomatoes? So he digs up a seed, and she's explaining to him, no, you got to leave it in the dark. We have to tend to it with faith, and eventually something little and green pokes out to let us know something's happening. And then we still have to exercise, Wayne Dyer, that's what it was, Wayne Dyer. We still have to exercise patience until the whole plant grows, until the flowers appear, until they turn into the tiny little green tomatoes, until they ripen on the vine. It is a process, right? And we need the P word, patience. So that's the first quote. The second one is for Muriel Rukeyser. The world isn't made up of atoms. It is made up of stories. The world isn't made up of atoms. It is made up of stories. And I tend to be a person who learns much better through parables, stories, share. Jesus got it. He used parables all the time. A way to communicate something with substance. For me, if it's just the dry, esoteric, here's the rule, here's how it operates, blah, 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 I'm like, eh. But if you tell me, here's how Sam and Sally put this rule into place in their own lives, bing, I get it. I get it. So, this is about Amy. So, it's Tosha Silver's former neighbor, Amy. Here's one of Amy's stories. My former neighbor, Amy, desperately needed a new vehicle. She and her husband, Todd, were in a grueling winter in upstate New York, and their trooper was dying. They couldn't find the right car, yet resisted spending the money to fix the old. Months passed as they looked everywhere, becoming completely exhausted. And I've been going through this. Well, good. Here's some more stories. Gwen, see what fits for you. I've been going through this as well. I want another Subaru Outback. I love my Outback. The handling on that thing is amazing. I don't necessarily want brand new. 3 or 4 years old would be lovely. I've been hunting everywhere. Lots of online looking. I'm willing to drive to find one. And there was one on the Toyota dealer's lot. I went and looked at it. It was older, and it was still $35,000 for a significantly used car. And I'm like, oh no, not happening. So yesterday, where was I coming from? Oh, I know. I took myself on a little vision quest. So again, good morning, Cheryl. Welcome, welcome. I think some part of me already knew that things were beginning to derail a little bit in this other regard. And so I had talked to this woman who has 16 acres that she wants to develop. And I'm wondering if an intentional community might be a part of that 16 acres. She's got all these other ideas, which is fabulous. I'm going to run my idea past her, see if she wants to incorporate that into her process. Anyway, she told me where the land was, so I wanted to go look at it. So on my way back from doing that, I drove past a dealership that isn't all bells and whistles and loud and whatever, but it's a Subaru dealership. And I'm driving through their lot going, they've got a lot of vehicles here. So when I get a moment, which may be later today or tomorrow or whatever, I'm going to go online and check out what they have. I like looking online first, and then I'll go see the real thing and test drive. But again, same kind of things. Months passed as they looked everywhere and became completely exhausted. Finally, they invoked divine order, affirming that the perfect vehicle would come at the right time. Divine right timing, divine right order. I've even broken that down into DRT, DRO, so I don't always have to write it out when I'm journaling it, because I journal it a lot. So, divine right timing, divine right order. Affirming that the perfect vehicle would come at the right time, and reluctantly spent $1,500 to fix up their clunker. All right? A week later, a woman pulled up at a stoplight in an unusual green Forester, their instant dream car, another Subaru. I thought that was funny too. And currently, my Subaru is green. So, again, okay, this is kind of funky. Finding out where she bought it, they drove to her distant dealership that afternoon. A mile before the shop, they started giggling as they entered Endwell, New York. A moment later, they saw the store sitting on the corner of Amy Road. Do you remember that this woman in the story's name is Amy? I mean, really, said Todd, her husband, shaking his head. Who could make this junk up? The universe. Only later did they see that they weren't able to find the right new car until they had surrendered and fixed the old one. In the end, they needed both. Now here's what happened when I was Amy's neighbor 20 years back. We lived side by side on a bucolic country road in the Catskills during an awful time when challenges circled me like a flock of ravens. I loved to sit on my little porch and contemplate my misery. The idea of divine order hadn't exactly taken firm hold yet. Believe me, it's a process. Don't we all know that, right? Sometimes as I sat brooding, I imagined buying lattice work to grow ivy and purple bougainvillea. Just the image would lift my heart. I've been watching all these garden flipping shows from the UK lately. They're feeding my soul. I just love it. But I told Amy sadly that even driving 50 miles to the nearest lumber shop was overwhelming. So she wants this lattice work. She doesn't have the energy, the bandwidth right then, probably not the money either, to go get it. I did periodically remember to ask God for help. Every so often I would half-heartedly mumble to the force that I couldn't really feel, but needed to pretend existed. Okay, I'm totally lost. Any sign I'm not alone will do right now. Please? One day, a big truck came barreling along, unheard of on our quiet road. A moment later, I saw Amy slapping her thighs, howling with laughter. "Oh my God, you won't believe what just fell off that thing," she yelled as the truck vanished around the corner. A huge piece of lattice, the exact size I needed, had been dropped and delivered by the side of the road. Ever had that kind of stuff happen? There's something you really need. Maybe it's something you can't afford, and you mention it to somebody and they say, "Well, I have two of them. I have one sitting here. Why don't you take the other one?" Or you want money for something and there's no money to be had, and maybe you're not quite yet to the this or something better stage. I'll tell you my favorite one with that. And I actually used one of the tools I had just learned, which is called Psych K, which is an energy-based method for change, which I adore and I use all the time. But I resisted learning about it for a year and a half because I thought the name was clunky. Psych K, what the hell is that, right? It's amazing. Anyway, so I wanted to go for the next level of training for Psych K. But it was in Colorado, in the middle of the boondocks, a little bitty place called Crestone. So if you want to look up funny, check out Crestone, Colorado. Good morning, Winnie. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. So I not only needed the money for this training, but in my brain, all I could think of was the training. Okay, I need X $1,000 for this training. I really want to go, blah, blah, blah. So having learned the first level of this process, I know me. If I practice something, it becomes incorporated. So I invited other people from the class when I had taken it and I learned this process. If you want to practice with me, let's get together once a month and practice. So that particular month, one of the things that I balanced for, that's what the process is called, was the funding to go to this gig. That was on a Friday. The following Monday, a check for $4,300 arrived out of nowhere. Where it came from was like 7 months earlier, my administrative assistant and I were laughing because the American Psychological Association had sued Cigna Insurance for their discriminatory practices against psychologists. So she and I had to put together how many clients I had and how many sessions I'd had with people who had Cigna Insurance and then submit it. And at the time I laughed and said, yeah, 5 years from now, I'll get a check for $7. Nope, $4,300. There was my check from Cigna Insurance for the class action suit that had been settled. So not only did I have enough for the training, I had enough for airfare, motel, rental car, all the stuff I needed. The universe provided. Again, divine right timing and divine right order, which I want to point out again, which makes everybody go, is not our timing. So Bonnie timing is not the same thing as divine right timing. Just is. So if something isn't showing up in your life yet, it's because it's not yet time. And it can also be because we've got some head stuff going on that's getting in the way. The same with this story about the vehicle. They were so resisting fixing their old vehicle, they weren't opening up the space for the new vehicle to come. And again, oftentimes we'll get the messages, and we fight them. We don't want to pick up what the universe is putting down. But when we surrender and allow, pick it up, the universe is handing it to you, and then see what happens. It will unfold somehow. Divine right timing, divine right order. So that was long-winded today. Hopefully there were some useful things in there. Grab whatever works for you. I'm going to go back to the quote at the beginning, the Chinese proverb, you may wear out your iron-soled shoes, searching for what arrives without effort when the time is right. Bide your time, do your things in between, wait for it to happen. See you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.